trenches. Ask a nigga what he benching. Triple digits, nigga, don't forget to mention. Whole hard in the trenches. Ask a nigga what he benching. Triple digits, nigga, don't forget to mention. Don't forget I got memories, dead stain the whole room if I let him bleed. Shit was dark, I let this little light of mine.
Alright. Alright. We here. We here, man. Beat on him. Beat on him. That's why beat on him. Alright. I could play this joint forever, bruh. This is a 7-minute song. We ain't finna do that right now, though. Ooh. Here we go. Boom. Alright. Welcome back to another episode of the Chop or Die podcast, man. I am the host, Mual, Jamal, also known as Let Mual Tell It, all that good stuff. You can find me on Twitter at Let Mual Tell It. I don't know if you all noticed, but that's my first time actually doing an actual introduction of myself. I figured I may have to try and remember to keep doing that because there's a lot of people newcomers who've been catching on to the podcast lately and don't know who the hell we are. They don't know who I am. They don't know who Dre is. And given that, AJ hasn't been around that much right now, they don't know who the hell AJ is either. They don't know who's who. So I'm Mual, man, and welcome back to another episode of the Chop or Die podcast. I'm just getting through a couple of administrative things right quick before we even get started on the show. Twitch, if you're watching right now on Twitch, and you aren't following, make sure that you are. It says a followers only chat. And if you want to be a part of the show each and every show, Monday through Thursday, and back again on Washington football game days, make sure you are following so you can be a part of each and every show. YouTube, if you are watching on YouTube and you like the content, you appreciate the content, you enjoy the content, all that good stuff. Ooh, excuse me. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Subscriptions help. Subscriptions help, man. A lot of people watch videos that they enjoy and then forget to subscribe. And we've reached that moment of the channel. we need the subscriptions, man. There's a lot of people who like the content, but they gotta help us out with the subscriptions. Podcast. If you are listening right now through the podcast, iTunes, Google, or Apple, Google, any other platform, make sure that you subscribe. If you aren't subscribed, make sure you rate and review us. Help us out, man. And if you enjoy the content, make sure that people know that this is some quality work. No 1 stars, man. You know the vibes. You don't want to 1 stars, man. We come and find you. That ain't no 1 stars out here shouting. And no 1 stars. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. I had a good weekend. Overall, I had a really good weekend, man. I'm a gambler. Everybody knows that to this point. And if you watch us and listen to us on Wednesdays, you know that we have our own segment of gambling. And then Dre and I talked about it to an extent too. It was a really good Saturday for me and a really good Sunday for me, man. And I want to give myself a pat on the back. I look at gambling like it's a sport to beat the books, bro. I am a competitive guy. I have always been competitive, man. And when I'm if there's something that drives me to be great, you would never believe what those items are. Beating the bookies, which is impossible to do because you always lose. It drives me. It drives me. It may cost my pockets a little bit from time to time, but it drives me, bro. And I love when I beat the bookies. I love it. I've never had a huge hit compared to some of the stories that you hear from other people. I see these stories on Twitter. I see these stories on Instagram where people put a $25 parlay. For those who don't know what a parlay is, they're betting on multiple events or multiple things to take place on one ticket. And they all have to hit. So it's not just one thing, they're betting on multiple things. And I see these $25 tickets that pay out $100,000, shit like that, $200,000, $50,000, and they down to their last game. And I'm like, bruh, what do I have to do? Hey, Montel, relax. Montel, relax. I'm like, what do I have to do to get this lucky, bruh? Like, what do I have to, like, do I have to be a creative fucking gambler to try and put 6 bets on a ticket that'll pay me $50,000? Come on. I need to get that type of lucky, bruh. I need to get that type of lucky. Anyway, good weekend. Tonight is Monday. I have the Los Angeles Chargers taking on the Las Vegas Raiders, and I have the Chargers tonight. And just in general, bruh, a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people do look at this as a sport, and they take emotion out of it. But at the end of the day, I'm still a fan of football, bruh. This is gonna be a great game. Win or lose, in terms of my bet, win or lose, I just love the sport of football, and just adding some money to it and trying to be on the right side is something that's also an additive, you know what I'm saying, to the game. So with that being said, let's get into it. Montel, while you in, we are gonna have call-ins. I'm gonna get a couple things off that we need to talk about right quick, and then I will give the number for the call-ins. So first and foremost, snap counts, and then injuries. Snap counts. I think snap counts is a story within itself, but I'm gonna go ahead and start with that anyway. And here we go. This is from Nikki Javala, who posted the snap counts. I'll talk about her notes, and then I'll just go to the snap counts in general. Washington snap counts versus Atlanta. Her notes was Terry McLaurin played all but 2 offensive snaps. With Logan Thomas out with a hamstring, Ricky Seals-Jones played 62 offensive snaps. Curtis Samuel stuck to his 25 play pitch count. He had 25 snaps, which was 37% of the offensive snaps. And then Bobby McCain and Landon Collins, they played every single defensive snap for the Washington football team this past Sunday against the Atlanta Falcons. So those are her notes. And one of the notes for me is the fact that Bobby and Landon played every single defensive snap. Somebody pointed out earlier today, which is probably a good catch. With Ben St. Juste going out, they tried to, I'm sure that they had a way to try to get creative and limit, what's his name? Torrey McTyer, and the other guy, was he even playing? I don't even think he played. The other cornerback, the veteran, I forgot his name right now. But I think they just tried to limit, because when you have versatile safeties and Bobby, who can play free, he can play strong, he can play slot. You kind of try and utilize him in every which way that you can to make sure that you limit your exposure from the inexperienced guys. So Torrey McTyer ended up playing 29 snaps, which is 38% of the defensive snaps. Chase Young played 80. Okay. William Jackson played 97%. Chase Young 80%. Cameron Curl 79% of the snaps. Which is that's interesting. But here's one thing that's kind of sticking out. John Bostic, Jamin Davis both played 43% of the snaps. They each had 33 snaps together. I think what we're seeing here isn't that Davis or Bostic is like neck and neck in terms of Bostic snaps decreasing. But at the same time, I feel like if you've noticed, I named 2 people. The other person is Cole Holcomb. Cole Holcomb played 83% of the snaps. Prior to this week, the first 3 weeks, Cole Holcomb has played. He's been 80% and above. He's played 80% and above for the offensive snaps. And that alone kind of tells you how valuable Cole Holcomb is for this defense. I don't have an opinion one way or another, because you got to think about, when you talk about this linebacking core, the defense in general, man, is just not good. It's not good. So when we're evaluating what they're seeing or what they're doing in terms of usage, that's a non-factor. But I think what I will say, like with Bostic in previous weeks, his pitch count or his snap count was definitely higher than 43%. It was probably like closer to 70s. And it drastically dropped. Now he did get hurt and he tore his pec, and we're going to get to injuries next. But my thing with this is that I think he got hurt late in the game. So for it to be 33 snaps, 43% of the snaps, I don't think that's indicative of the injury. I just don't think they had him on the field that much. So we're going to go ahead and get into the injuries. Oh, sorry. I forgot about the offensive side. There's one thing that kind of stood out to me again. They said 25 snaps, which was 37% for Curtis Samuel. But then you talk about this is crazy. I didn't even see this part. DeAndre Carter and Cam Sims. DeAndre Carter had 11 snaps, 16% of the offensive snaps. Cam Sims had 5 snaps, 7% of the offensive snaps. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the thing that kind of bothers me with this. And somebody tried to argue with me. First and foremost, they already have a disdain towards Cam Sims. They don't like Cam Sims, so they feel what they feel. And that's kind of where their opinion originated from. I said before the game, and I've said for multiple weeks now, like I'm verified, you can fact check me. I've said for multiple weeks now that I don't think Cam Sims is a world beater. I don't think that Cam Sims is some spectacular player that needs 100% of the snaps. But when you look at the versatility that he has, but also what he's proven to do for this offense over at least in 2020, this is the same staff. Scott Turner's been here, Ron Rivera's been here, Drew Terrell's been here. When you look at these guys, the people that's been around, for Cam Sims to have 2 snaps in week 1 on offense, I think 8 snaps in week 2 on offense. Then you have about 20-ish snaps week 3, and then you're back to 5 in week 4. I just want to remind you all, Drew Terrell, Ron Rivera, Scott Turner, all 3 of them said out of their mouth, we would love to get Cam Sims more involved. We want to get Cam Sims more involved. I think, and I said this pregame, so I'm so glad I said this pregame. I had said that I think the way things looked in that Buffalo game, Cam Sims may have gotten more snaps because the game was out of reach. So they said, you know what? Get your time in now because we ain't winning this game. That was my hunch because there was 2 other games prior to Buffalo where he wasn't seeing anything. He was averaging around 5 snaps. What do they do when week 4 comes around? De'Ami Brown, 42% of the snaps. He was way higher than 42% the last 3 weeks. 42% of the snaps. And then Cam Sims is back at 7% of the snaps. I never once wanted or asked for Cam Sims to have more snaps than De'Ami. Let's be clear as I'm talking. That was never something that I wanted. That is never something that I am asking for, or never something that should happen. But there hasn't been many receivers outside of Terry who has been making plays for this offense. Terry McLaurin, 25 catches, 354 yards. You know the next leading receiver for this offense? Wide receiver. Adam Humphries. He has 11 catches for 80 yards. You know who the next one is after that? De'Ami Brown. De'Ami Brown has 5 catches for 51 yards. You know who the second leading receiver is on this team? Collectively, this is talking about tight ends now. This is talking about running backs. It's J.D. McKissic. So you go from 25 receptions in Terry McLaurin to 12 catches in J.D. McKissic. JD and Logan Thomas are tied for 12 catches. And then there's Adam Humphries, and then there's Antonio Gibson. This is the issue that I'm trying to pinpoint here right now. Terry McLaurin has no help. Even with Curtis Samuel's been back for all but one game, right? So we can kind of evaluate a little bit further in this next quarter of the season. But when you're talking about a receiving core who you hope to improve, and you thought that Dyami Brown was going to be this guy off the rip, like you've clearly played him as if as if he's going to be that dynamic playmaker for you all, and you've only produced 5 catches. Here we go. So here's the snap count for Dyami. 93% of the snaps in week 1. 87% of the snaps week 2. 65% of the snaps week 3. And 42 in week 4. And I think 42 is probably where he's going to average now that Curtis Samuel back, assuming that Curtis Samuel is going to be healthy through the rest of the season, right? But he'll probably average around 40 to 50% of the snaps. Again, I've said it, and back to the Cam Sims thing, right? Scott Turner and Taylor Heineke have to utilize the playmakers who have proven themselves for this offense. You want to know how I know this works? Look what J.D. McKissic did when you gave him the opportunities against Atlanta. Look what he did when you gave him the opportunities against New York. Logan Thomas, same thing. We all know what Terry McLaurin could do. We know what Cam Sims did last year. But what happens when Cam Sims is... I'm going to pull up his numbers right now. What happens when Cam Sims is only seeing 2 snaps in one game? These are the official numbers now because I was going off the top of my head earlier. What happens when Cam Sims is only getting 2 snaps on offense one game, 8 snaps on offense another game, 20 snaps on offense another game, and then 5 snaps on offense another game? How many opportunities? Like, that's not even the snaps. That's not even routes ran. These could have been run plays for all we know. So what are you going to do for a wide receiver who doesn't have any opportunities anymore? His opportunities have been stripped. And you're telling me that he can't make plays for this offense? It's only Terry McLaurin? It's only J.D. McKissic? Trust me, man. When I listen to these coaches, bro, I hold them to their words. And to be honest with you, right now, everything has been fluff. Everything has been fluff. What's going on, Kev? So Kev mentioned, do you think that they just see Dyami's ceiling is higher? I mean, yeah. And I think, I'm not saying right now that I think that was a stupid question. I'm just saying I think that it's obvious, right? Like, it's obvious in the actions that they're doing. It's not a stupid question. They're just, they are putting him out there because they're hoping that he explodes on the scene at one point. And you got to remember, he is their draft pick. So they want to show the world that they're right. And they want to say that eventually he'll come along. I can't even define to you right now, like, if these are issues on his behalf. I don't believe that they are. But at the same time, we aren't seeing much from him from a pass catching standpoint. Before the week 4 game, he had 12 targets. 2 of them were drops. 2 of them were bad drops. So you have 12 targets, 2 drops, and then 10 targets out of those, where it's been nothing. It's I can't even tell you, like, what. I'm looking at him now. Hold on. 4 targets in the first week. He had 1 catch, -2 yards. And then the New York game where everybody was eating 6 targets, 3 receptions. So, like, a lot of things, it just doesn't work out well here, right? So yeah, like I said, again, just to close out on this in the snap counts, it's not about Cam Sims having more snaps than Dyami Brown. It's the fact of the matter is, the coaches, the staff, they know who their playmakers were last year. You see what happened when you gave J.D. McKissic more touches and you emphasized him in your offense. You see what Logan Thomas has done for you each and every week. You see what Terry McLaurin does. You see what Antonio Gibson does. But you bury Cam Sims on the roster? Put him on the field more. Put him on the field more, man. Montiel said that it's been fluff going back to that test thing. Yeah, man, it's trust me, bro. We here with it, bro. We here with it. So with that being said, I'm gonna go through the injuries and I'm gonna open up the lines for people to call in. The question of the day, for me, let me go to this. What would you grade Washington football team through their first quarter of the season, and why? That will be the question for everybody to ask or everybody to answer. I'll give that there. So then now we get to the injuries. Logan Thomas and Brandon Sheriff got injured in the game against the Atlanta Falcons. Let me see if I have that up. Yeah, so per Adam Schefter, who broke the news a few hours ago, Brandon Sheriff suffered a sprained MCL during Sunday's win over Atlanta, and that is considered a 2 to 3 week injury per source. Logan Thomas suffered a hamstring injury Sunday that is expected to leave him week to week. John Kahn believes that Wes Schweitzer should take Sheriff's place. If Thomas must sit, then obviously we know Shamish Reyes will have an opportunity to kind of have his chances. And then we reach John Bostic. Where's John Bostic's information? So John Bostic is he suffered a pec injury. He'll have an MRI today, and they fear that it's a serious one. This was at 10 o'clock this morning. And then we had an update from Ron Rivera during his presser around 3 o'clock p.m. And he mentioned there that Torrey McTyer he's done for the season with a torn ACL. A guy who really stood out in the preseason and obviously earned his way into to Washington's roster. And he's done after his first game with Washington. And then John Bostic, he tore a pec. Odds are he's gone for the season as well, per Ron Rivera. The thing in his pressure that kind of stood out to me and should stand out to you all as well. Well, I mean, he mentioned them, but he mentioned two people. So he said that somebody asked the question on if he feels that Jamin Davis is ready to fill the role, of an injured John Bostic. And I'll read his quote verbatim. He said, Jamin is going to get a little bit more opportunity, obviously, and we'll take a look at our other linebackers. But Khalid Hudson should get more of an opportunity as well to add on and play some. David Mayo should get some more opportunities as well. We'll see how those things figure out as we progress into the week. You get a chance to talk and sit down as far as those is a concern from a staff's perspective. He mentioned Khalid Hudson, but he also mentioned David Mayo. This isn't a Khalid Hudson show. And that should kind of tell you something. A lot of people was wondering where Khalid was and that this may be an opportunity for him. Obviously, on top of that, they are looking internally before outsourcing. So if you're wondering where Benarjic McKinney, Jamie Collins, if you're wondering where those people are, I would just say this. If they were really concerned about, and I'm not saying that they aren't, right? If they were really concerned about the linebacker position, they would have signed somebody yesterday. Like, that's how important that position is. And if they feel like Khalid Hudson and David Mayo can't do it, then that's kind of where they should be with that position. So they're looking internally before outsourcing, which means they probably get a game or two, David Mayo or Khalid Hudson. But I honestly think if he mentioned both of those names, then David Mayo is probably going to have a bigger role than Khalid Hudson early on, especially a guy in Hudson who may not be ready just yet. He really didn't show out in the preseason. So that's kind of where we are. So Kev mentioned, as y'all spoke about yesterday, if you would have told me 2-2, I would have taken it. However, how we got here, coupled with mounting injuries, the future seems limited, especially with the series of games coming up. And there we go. So I'm going to put the number in the chat, 443-242-4479. 443-242-4479 for those who are here live and want to be a part of the show through a call-in. That is the number you can call in right now. Again, you can get things off your chest, but also we need to get that question answered. The question again, what grade would you give the Washington football team through the first quarter of the season, and why? Let me see one thing. All right. So there we go for that. And I'm gonna go ahead and continue through the aftermath items. We went through the injury, snap count. All right, so the good. Terry McLaurin continues to cook. Let me pull up where he ranks right now. Let's pull up where he ranks right now in terms of the league leaders in the season. Again, I mentioned that he had 25 catches on the year already. 25 catches for 354 yards, 14 yards of reception, which is that is good. All right, here we go. 2021. Receiving numbers have been updated. Okay. So right now, Terry McLaurin is 13th in the league. 13th in the league right now with 25 catches, but also 7th in the NFL in reception yards. So he's up there. I got to call him. I'm going to take this call and see where we're at. All right. So I think I know who this is, but for the sake of the show, hello, who this?
Yo, you be crushing me. First and foremost, bro, you already know. I gotta give it to you, dog. You really be holding it down on this show, but don't stop doing what you're doing. But like as a fan of the team, I truly appreciate, you know what I'm saying, your content, dog. And that's on some G shit.
I appreciate that, bro. For real.
For sure. But to answer your question, first and foremost, I'm giving the team. I'm gonna give them a D, and I'm gonna be a little. Hey,
less I couldn't hear you. Did you say D or B? D as in David?
D as in dog. D as in dog shit. But honestly, I'm a little less emotional today because they pulled off the W. But like, let's be for real. Like, again, the only thing that I'm wishing for, and this happened in 2015 with the team. When injuries started to pile up, by some miracle, the defense got better, and we made that playoff run. We beat the Giants. It was raining. We was at home. I can't remember what the score was, but I just remember guys stepping up. And honestly, I'm looking at guys.
Sean Jarrett. That was one of them.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it was guys like that who just stepped up. And you got a lot of names on the defense right now, but sometimes you don't need names. Sometimes you just need guys who gonna go out there and, you know, right now, and this doesn't get talked about a lot. William Jackson looks bad, bro. And we don't even gotta keep talking about it. The defense is so bad it make my stomach hurt, dog. Like, I'm watching the game yesterday, and when I watched Bostic miss that tackle in the red zone, and Davis, he just ran right. Like, I'm in J.C. Penney, dog, getting my son pictures taken. I literally out loud, I said, yo, these niggas is sorry. My wife said, well, you got to wash them out. I said, no, they sorry, bro. It's really, like I said, it make my stomach hurt. It makes me want to throw up. But we can talk about that all day. But
well, I want to bring something to your attention while we're on that subject, though. I had this stat. I figured I'd do this while I had some spare time at work, because we ain't really doing shit at work right now. So Montel, peep this, bro.
Glorious.
Yeah, right. So peep this. I can live, and we can all live. Let me ask you, first, do you agree with this? We can live with a defense that struggles if they force turnovers, correct?
Absolutely.
All right. So listen to this. In 2012, I named the teams that were competitive for Washington, because the 2010s in general, we had sorry defenses throughout the 2010s. But in 2012, we were the 28th overall defense. We were 5th in turnovers forced. In 2015, we were the 28th overall defense. We were 8th in turnovers forced. 2012 and 2015, both playoff seasons. 2016, we were 28th in defense again, but 17th in turnovers forced. That's not top 10, but at the same time, you were still middle of the pack. You were still creating turnovers. You still gave your offense chances. We haven't forced a turnover since week 1 of the season this year.
Crazy.
And we only had 2 turnovers forced against the Chargers. We haven't forced any turnover in week 2, week 3, or week 4. It is 3 weeks in a row in which the defense has forced 0 turnovers. They are not giving their offense any extra opportunities. We are being forced to have to put up 30 plus in order to win a game.
and that is a bad sign. And because again, I love what Taylor Heineke doing, and that's where I was going to go next. And I also wanted to touch on something you said, but that is something I noticed as well. We're not getting any turnovers, dog. But I think what's worse and what's like the gut punch for me is the 3rd and 13s constantly, or the third and the third and threes in the red zone constantly. It's almost like all right. I tell myself this to kind of keep me sane during the game. 3rd down, get off the field. Knowing in the back of my mind, they finna get his game up.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like I said, that can go on forever. And then, like I remember I said last week, I don't want to hear anything about the defense. And then Bobby McCain comes out talking about how the media, dog, like,
yep.
When is enough, bro? Like, when are you serious, bro? Your defense is the worst in the league. What do you think the media is going to come out and say? And y'all will project it to be number 1. Like, what are you thinking?
Yes. Why on earth would you be mad at the media when it's your job to play good defense and you ain't playing good? And then on top of that, it's based off a play that you gave up behind you when you were the deep safety, and somehow Cordero Patterson gets behind you, and all of a sudden you blame the media. Come on, man.
Dudes get paid millions of dollars and they want some sort of pity on them. Like, nah, bro. We done invested years into this team and we ain't seen nothing. I haven't seen nothing in my 20 years of living. So, no, I'm not giving you no pity. You got paid a nice fat check yesterday to go out there and look like some shit. Ain't nobody about to be showing you no pity, bro. But Absolutely. One of the things I wanted to touch on that you touched on was how Ron Rivera is. He shows a lot of favoritism to players who haven't proven anything. And it's like, I don't understand that. Like, one of the things, and granted, I do like the way he's playing now, opposed to how he was earlier in the season, was Sam Cosmi. I didn't understand letting go of Morgan Moses because, again, while I do think that Sam Cosmi is playing well, he's not someone, Moses, you didn't have to get rid of him. I didn't understand that. And I kind of feel the same way in regards to right now St. Juice over Moreland. Like, again, Moreland, he didn't have to start. But this secondary is so bad. And you had a guy who produced last year. You know how I feel about Moreland. I was never really a fan. But he was serviceable. Why is he on the street and your secondary is getting torched? It was like it was unnecessary. And then he did it. And one of the ones we don't speak about is how in week 1 they tried to phase out McKissick. They had Patterson in the game early. I don't know what happened. I don't know what went down. Maybe they seen something they didn't like. But you started to see McKissick more in week 2. And when he started to make plays, it was like, okay, let's get him back in. But that was almost another mistake. And you seen it last year, again, with AP and AG.
Yeah.
We don't have to go back. We don't have to go back to last year, but AP was a guy you didn't have to get rid of. It was just like, okay.
He got rid of that man for fucking Peyton Barber, bro.
Yeah, and I was just like, I don't understand it. Why are you getting rid of guys who did damage here, who did their job? It's almost like you're not rewarding those dudes, bro. And Cam Sims was a guy who came from the practice squad, worked his way out of the trenches, and he
got a different type of grind, bro. And you trying to bury that nigga in your roster, bro.
And you bring him to someone who is unproven and isn't doing anything. That's what I don't understand. It's just like I don't understand the loyalty to guys who aren't really producing. Dustin Hopkins, what the fuck is the loyalty to him? Like, why are you so loyalty to this guy? Yeah. What is he doing for you in the background? I just don't understand it. So it's this guy.
I was gonna say here's one note for Dustin, man. And we all know this, but I just want to reiterate the point. First thing actually, so it's two things. It's two quick things. The first thing is that I've said for weeks at a time now that there's going to come a point to the season where Ron Rivera is going to stand on the hill for Dustin Hopkins, and he's going to say that that's our guy. And then there's going to be a game day in which he misses field goals, and in the moment you're going to think, okay, I'm not tripping over him. We'll bounce back. We'll be fine. But then later in the game, and you end up losing that game, you're going to wonder where the hell was our points at? And then all of a sudden, when the game ends, you're like, this motherfucker, Dustin Hopkins, if he made these extra kicks or these extra points or these field goals, we would either have the lead or we would have been tied up late in the game. Montel, the score was 30-28 on Taylor Heineke's game-winning drive. He missed two extra points. He missed 2 extra points, and the score was 30-28 on the game-winning drive.
And not only that, on the game-winning drive, I thought that he was going to have to make a game winner. And in my mind, I'm like, we done fucking lost.
Yep.
Your fans don't have any faith in this dude, bro. Why do you? I just don't understand. Like, we see it. It's there. Football isn't one of them games where you can hide your work. Like, no, your work and what you do and what you put in the background, it shows up on Sundays. Dustin Hopkins, he ain't like you. We could easily be 0-4. Had Dustin Lawrence not jumped off sides,
yep,
we'd be 1-3. And yesterday, if it wasn't for the heroics of Taylor Heineke, we'd be 0-4. Like, dude, this dude legitimately almost cost us 2 games. When is enough? I just don't understand. Like you said, he just keeps standing on the hill for him. Like, I just don't. And like I told you this way prior to. I have not been a fan of Rivera. That doesn't mean he isn't a good coach or he won't be. I just have not been a fan thus far. I think he's disingenuous. I think he lies a lot. I just don't like his vibe. You know what I mean? And again, like you
got it. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just saying, like, I don't know. It's been a lot of stuff that he's done that's just rubbed me the wrong way. And I, as a man, not even, and I don't know him personally on a personal level.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, as a man, you don't do what you did to guys like Morgan Moses who have been here, and you just chop him and he didn't even know. And you're telling him and you're talking him up this whole time, and then I just don't respect. There's certain things I just can't. Just don't lie to my face. You know what I'm saying? Even with the thing with the Dwayne Haskins last year, that was a test. No, you made a bad call, G, and you need to own up to that. And it's some things he doesn't own up to. And like I said, it's getting offended when people ask him questions in the media as if you're God and you don't make any mistakes. There's just certain things he does and says that just rub me the wrong way, bro.
That's what I was going to point to. The media aspect, man. So I think Ron Rivera is clearly flawed. 2 things here. The first thing is the media part. Ron talks to Washington's media, the local beat reporters and their pressers when they ask questions. He talks to them sometimes, not all the time. First and foremost, I'm sorry. Appointment only, man. I appreciate the follow. Welcome to the stream, man. I hope all is well with you. Hope all is well with you tonight, and I hope you had a good week and all that good stuff, man. Talk to me. Let me know how you're doing. So the media part, he talks to people sometimes, not all the time, but he talks to sometimes like when he's annoyed, he talks to them like they're children, like they don't know anything.
Yes.
And there's sometimes where it's like, man, what you don't understand, Ron, is not only has the media been a part of so many toxic situations in this area, but this ain't Carolina where they're just gonna fucking lay down and take what you give them. Like you're not it's not that sweet here in Washington. They're gonna challenge you and they're gonna push back when things ain't adding up. And you ain't that God that sometimes the fans may figure him out to be and be so thankful that he's turned around the narrative and the identity of the franchise. The media, that's not their job, Ron. And you can't bully those guys or I'm not gonna say bully because that's a strong word, but you can't sit here and say
trying to dictate.
Yes, you can't dictate. Absolutely. You can't do that here. And then here's the second thing, Montel. He had 10 seasons in Carolina. 10 seasons to prove himself that he was a competent and really good head coach. While he may do things well with a structure and creating a good culture, he's only produced 3 winning seasons in Carolina. He had 10 years or 11 years to kind of make an imprint on his time there in Carolina, and he's won over 500 3 times. He did not win much at all. That's a 30% clip, bro. He ain't winning much.
Yeah, I mean, what can we do but sit back and watch and hope? But I do think that I'm hoping it at least it's better than what we had previously, but honestly, it doesn't seem like it's too much different from where I'm sitting at least. Again, and I love Jack Del Rio, but right now this seems like a Greg Mineski defense, though, and it's worse. It's worse than the Greg Mineski defense. Wow, like I
Yep.
just can't, bro. I honestly, like I said, we can talk about that. I'm so over talking about how bad the defense is because it's like at this point it's no longer news. But again, I do think that if this continues, we're not going anywhere. Heineke is playing his ass.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get those type of games every week from him though. And again, that's another thing. Last point, I think that people have to stop with this. He's not the guy in the future. We don't know. But right now, you got to show appreciation for what this young man is doing. Again, he played his ass off every week. And I'm going to keep saying that every time even against the Bills last week, I did not think he had a bad game. I did not. He made
Yeah, I
plays with his
disagree with you
legs.
there.
No, I don't think he had a bad game. I do think he tried to do too much. I'll say that. And I do think some of those passes. No, you're right. Some of those passes, I was
I'm
like,
about to say, come on, bro.
what
Come
the
on,
hell?
man.
Some of those passes,
I was with you.
oh
Like,
my
enjoy the
God.
moment. You know what I'm saying? But that motherfucker had a bad game.
But that's expected again,
Yeah.
especially when your team puts you in the position that he. And I don't expect him to go out and be Brett Favre and do what he did yesterday every week. I just don't. So at some point he has to get bailed out by his team. This is a team game, bro. But I'm gonna let you go ahead and have it. I'm about to walk in the house, brother. I do appreciate you taking my call per usual, and I'm gonna sit back and listen to the rest of the show, man.
All right, big dog, man. I appreciate you, man. And enjoy that game tonight, bro. It's gonna be a good one. Chargers and the Raiders, bro. I'm tuned in. You already know I got my bet flowing, bro. I'm ready. I'm locked and loaded.
Bro, I need to start betting now.
Nah, I'm a degenerate, bro. I'm a degenerate. It's stamped. Hey, but be safe, bro. I appreciate you calling in, bro. You already know that.
All right.
Hey. All right. So houses, man. I appreciate you checking in. I hope all is well with you. You mentioned. Let me scroll down a little bit. It's always scary when a coach is with an organization for so long, and once they leave, the team gets better. Example: Carolina, the Rams. Great coaches. When they leave, the team gets worse. Giants, for example. Glad to catch the stream. Also, by the way, fellas, man. Hey, I appreciate you checking in, man. Well, this is the Aftermath show. I'm trying to be a little bit more calm. I am an animated individual. People may catch on to that. People may know that, but we got to get our points across here. You know what I'm saying? This is the Aftermath show. We got to get our points across, get the facts across, things like that in a clear manner without having me to turn down the microphone. But houses, man, I do appreciate you. All right, so here we go. So we mentioned, and Montel brought up a lot of good points, and I just wanted to say some of the things that he talked about. I had some notes for a few things that he talked about, right? But just to put a lid, because we were talking about Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin is 7th in the NFL right now in reception yards, with 354, averaging 14 yards per reception, which is really good. But he also is in good company with a record, 4th place all time. According to where are we at? According to Darren Haynes of WSA 9, Terry McLaurin moves into sole possession of 4th place all time amongst receivers with 60 or more yards in their first 33 games of the career. Guess who's in the company with Terry McLaurin? Odell Beckham. He has 23 games with 60 or more reception yards. Julio Jones, he has 23 with 60 or more reception yards. Michael Thomas has 23 as well with 60 or more reception yards. Terry McLaurin is in that same boat, man. So look, we can always revisit that conversation. Like, I'm on record. I'm not hiding from it, and I'm not going to change my opinion right now either. Even amidst the hype that's going on with Terry McLaurin right now, I'm on record by saying that Terry McLaurin is a really good receiver, and I think he's a top tier receiver, but I don't think he's a top 10 right now. And 4 games in, I'm not going to change my opinion right now. Some may hear this, some may see this and say, this nigga's stupid. And And truth be told, you can have that opinion if you want to, but guess what? I'm not going to overreact to this point. I think you need to see a little bit more sample size, and right now he is on really good pace to be a Pro Bowl receiver. He has potential to be an All-Pro this year at the receiver position. The way things are unfolding for the NFL and unfolding for his position, he has the potential to be All-Pro. But I think we need to see an entire season before I jump the gun. Terry McLaurin is a bona fide playmaker. He is our guy on offense. It's undeniable. It's undeniable. I give him complete credit for that. I'm just not gonna like jump the gun from an emotional standpoint because that's my guy. I said that he was around 11 or 12. Like he hovered around that range. Top 10. Like in order to be considered a top 10, you have to be undoubtedly a top 8 receiver. Anything between 9 through 13, those are fringe top 10 guys because they're all interchangeable. That's what happens. So with that being said, kudos to Terry McLaurin. Hey, I'm proud of him. I'm happy for him. I'm happy he's on our team 100%. But he is a fringe top 10 guy for me right now. I'm still on record for saying that. If y'all want to clip this, y'all want to do something, save it for later, be my guest. That ain't fucking phasing me. Do it. Okay. So as we were talking about the good, man, Terry McLaurin, JD McKissick, we spoke on JD McKissick already. DeAndre Carter, man. DeAndre Carter had his kickoff return for a touchdown was the first touchdown of his NFL career. I think on special teams. I may be wrong. It may have been his entire career, but definitely on special teams. And it's just a matter of time. DeAndre Carter was getting really good returns throughout the entire season to this point. The first quarter of the season has been amazing for him. And it's been really good. So DeAndre Carter, really good. Happy for him. And I'm glad he finally broke loose. We talked about JD. And then Taylor Heineke is one person that I struggled to put on the list. I'm not going to lie to you. And here's why. And I'll be brief with Taylor Heineke. We can have a little bit more in-depth discussion, assuming that. So we do have a show tomorrow. We're going to be previewing the Saints game with Ross Jackson. Excuse me. Did I say? Good Lord. Oh, yeah. All right. I thought I butchered his last name. So we're going to be previewing the Saints game tomorrow because there is no show Thursday. So we're previewing the Saints game tomorrow with Ross Jackson. But after the preview, we'll be discussing a little bit about Taylor Heineke. And truth be told, man, if it wasn't for that last drive, I'm not going to lie to you. I thought he was very inconsistent. I said that yesterday on the post-game stream. Taylor Heineke had a really inconsistent day. There was a lot of passes that should have been intercepted. And when I say should have been intercepted, it's not ones that were just bad passes. These were passes that were in the hands of ATL defenders. They were in the hands of ATL defenders. So that's how bad these passes were. And by the grace of God, they dropped them. So when we're talking about Taylor Heineke's day, you have to get extremely lucky and acknowledge the fact that he got extremely lucky in his outing that ended up pushing the stats. Where was his final stats for yesterday? I think he was like 23 or 33. Here we go. My bad, y'all. 23 or 33, 290 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. So there was quite a few things that stood out from a passing standpoint that I just wasn't a fan of. But I think the good thing that sticks out for Taylor Heineke is the fact that he was able to use his legs. 5 carries, 43 yards, second on the team in rushing. He extended quite a few drives with his legs, man. Now the first 3 carries were kind of ridiculous because he had no situational awareness or no awareness on the field in terms of where the sticks were. And he stopped himself short on multiple times for converting first downs for Washington. And that's kind of, that was weird to kind of see. I know he was really, you can tell he was kind of emphasizing or being kind of aware of where he's at, and he's not trying to take any hits from defenders because he has to stay on the field for Washington. But at the end of the day, get that first down, bro. Get the first down. But yeah, Taylor Heineke, he had a really good game in the sense of just understanding who he is as a quarterback, man. He's a gamer. He's a guy who, when you look at the opportunities that he provides, he thrives the best in chaotic moments for Washington. That's as far as I've seen it. When the back is against the wall, he shows up and he stands out. He's going to give his guys chances. He's done that each and every time he's been on the field for Washington. And that's all you can really ask for if you're a receiver or a tight end. Give me a shot. Give me a shot. Terry McLaurin had 13 targets. 6 catches, but 13 targets. He's gonna fucking throw that ball to you, bro. If he's somebody you trust, and if he's somebody he trusts, he's gonna give you that ball. So in that regard, Taylor Heineke stood out, man, and I'm looking forward to what he's seeing against a really good Saints defense. A Saints defense who is 10th in the NFL, 5th in points. They don't really give up much on the ground, but the passing game is acceptable to you can have some plays there. You can have some sets for Taylor Heineke in that regard. So House mentioned that for McLaurin, he said that's insane, and looks at the quarterbacks those dudes had to play with. And then Montel, I already know that comment was regarding, he said I'm wild, and I know that comment is regarding Taylor Heineke. Look, man, I'm just being honest, bro. That's my opinion. I'm not necessarily here to say that Taylor played a great game. I struggled to say that he played a good game, though. If it wasn't for that last drive, but I give him credit. Like, look, you're 2 for 2 in game-winning drives, man. It's the Giants. You had an opportunity. You nailed it. You didn't get that opportunity against the Chargers because Washington's defense didn't allow you to get the ball back. And then against the Falcons, man, you nailed it, bro. Really good. I can't take that away from him. I can't. So, with that being said, man, I put him on the list at the end of the day. Ain't that? Like I said, I struggled to put him on the list, but what did I do, Montel? I put that motherfucker on the list. House said that Taylor is far from perfect and has a long way to go, but the dude puts up points. And with how shit the defense is, we are being forced to score 30 a week, and that's a fucking fact. That's a fact. So let's go ahead and close out with the bad. We talked about Dustin Hopkins already when Montel called. And I'm gonna leave this number out for one more time. We probably got, if somebody does decide to call in, we got about 5 minutes. If you all want to get something off your chest, I'm gonna put the number in the chat. Here it is. 443-242-4479. If you want to call and get things off your chest about the Washington football team. And then also if you want to grade what they were in the first quarter of the NFL season, that is your opportunity. So that's the number. And we talked about Dustin Hopkins again, 2 missed extra points, which could have been a deciding factor. Ron Rivera said in this presser today, which is Monday, he said on the security kicker, Dustin Hopkins, he's our kicker, and we'll leave it at that. That's all he said. He's our kicker, and we'll leave it at that. That is, I would love to hear the tone of how he said it. But odds are, when you're that short with the media, this ain't some shit that you are really proud of. You ain't proud of Dustin Hopkins. You are sick of defending him. And at this point, you know that he's the best option that you got, because if you go out there and cut him for somebody else that you don't know and that you don't trust, you're going to be upset. But end of the day, Dustin Hopkins ain't good, bro. He's not good. And for your fan base to not trust that man inside, not even, first off, it's hard to trust that man outside of 40 yards, but also for them to not even be confident enough where they want him to kick a field goal inside of like 40 yards, they want a touchdown. It kind of shows you the level of confidence that's deteriorated in Dustin Hopkins, man. So with that being said, let's go ahead to the third down defense. 4 of 9 on offense. Excuse me. Third down offense. 4 of 9 on offense. Relatively with only 9 opportunities and converting on 4. It's not too bad, but again, we're talking about the offense, and I closed out Pro Football Reference for whatever reason, which was stupid. The offense is still 31st. 31st in the NFL in third down conversions. The offense is 43 attempts, 13 conversions. Terrible. fucking terrible. Defensively, the Washington football team allowed 10 conversions on 16 attempts against the Atlanta Falcons. That puts Washington at dead last in the NFL on third down conversions with 32 conversions on 62 attempts on the season. That is 59.7. Let's just say 60%. They are allowing 60% conversion rate for their opposing teams. John Com had a tweet earlier today on Monday, stating that I'm gonna just read the tweet verbatim, right? Washington is forced a 3-and-out on 19% of its opponent's drives this season. That's 28th in the NFL. Last year, in 2020, they forced a 3-and-out on 37.2% of their opponent's drives. That was second in the NFL. He also added that, yes, facing good quarterbacks, but not the only reason for this. This surprised me because the four teams worse than them this year was the Chargers, the Chiefs, the Rams, and the Raiders. But that's a red herring, if I use that term right. It's the bottom line is the 3-and-out thing. All conversions rates and opportunities for the defense, man, they're failing in all aspects. I mentioned and I'll reiterate it one more time, right? The issue with the turnovers thing. You're cool with the defense, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't say cool, but you're content if you have a defense that struggles, but if they force turnovers, right? Again, 2012, 2015, 2016, they all ironically had the 28th ranked defense. The fourth worst defense in the NFL in those 3 seasons. 2 of those were playoff seasons. 2016 came down to the last game of the season. They were 5th, 8th, and 17th respectively in turnovers forced. You need a defense that can do something. And this defense has failed in so many ways. Like, it's not just the fact that they aren't getting to the quarterback. By the way, they sacked Matt Ryan one time, and that mobile guy, they sacked him one time. They forced a couple of pressures, but it wasn't like no game-wrecking pressure or anything like that. Again, another variety of factors. But one sack against Matt Ryan. They aren't really getting off the field on third down. 16 third down attempts for the Atlanta Falcons, and they converted 10 of them. They aren't getting off the field on third downs. They aren't really getting to the quarterback. They aren't forcing turnovers. There's so many aspects for why this defense is bad. And that is a problem. I tell people all the time, I said it for like the last 2 weeks for sure. Believe your eyes. People are holding out hope that this thing is going to get better. Ladies and gentlemen, the defense, shit. Believe what your eyes are saying. This defense ain't getting no better. Doesn't matter what the coaches is telling you. There are deeper flaws than just performance issues. If you all think that you can bring somebody in and just hope this defense is going to get better because they replace somebody who's already bad, it goes deeper than that, man. And it ain't on me to really find that part out. It's on the coaches. And we'll find that part out when the story comes along. So with that being said, 2 more things. We talked about the third down defense, tackling on defense. Sam Monson a week ago mentioned that Washington defense has been bad, yet they have the lowest total of missed tackles in the NFL. That's vaguely terrifying because it means that there's a chance that it get worse. We missed a ton of tackles against the Atlanta Falcons. A ton of tackles. One of the things that stood out was the Mike Davis touchdown late in the game, where he broke like 4 going into the end zone. And then Matt Ryan on the last drive of the game, Cole Holcomb just completely whiffed and let him run past him, even though he had a hand on Matt Ryan. Missed tackles can clearly kill this team, and issues like that. So we're in trouble. We're in trouble. The Saints is coming in with Alvin Kamara. I don't know the status right now, Mike Thomas. I guess we'll figure that out tomorrow. But we're in trouble, man. We need to If there's going to be a season, there has to be one thing that they get better at, one piece at a time. And I mean, we'll see. We'll see. So we talked about the Cyclone defense, the coverage issues. Bobby McCain, man. Montel mentioned Bobby McCain. My bad. House. So he mentioned that House mentioned that he thought that he seen a week or so ago on Twitter that the all-time worst conversion rate was like 48%. I think it was the Chargers at some point in history, and we are at 60%. Yes, we're at 60. The worst part of the defense, House mentioned, is how much we invested in it. It's going to end up setting back big time in this continuous rebuild. And people have said that on this stream multiple times. They've called in. Dre has said it as a co-host. He said, investing in this team, investing on one side of the ball has proven like it either has to work or it's a complete failure. And these guys, for them to have the step back that they've had statistically, and then also performance-wise with the eye test, man, it's been like, it's showing huge flaws in the philosophy that Washington's had over the recent years, dating back since 2017, which was the first pick for Jonathan Allen. And to answer your question, have you heard what they are planning to do about Bostic's replacement? Yes. So they're looking internally before they're outsourcing. So that means that David Mayo and Khalil Hudson are going to have an increased role before they look in to people like Jamie Collins or Benardrick McKinney and people like that. So they're looking internally before. So I would say they'll probably give them like a week. And truth be told, if they feel like they have no shot with those two guys, they would have hired somebody yesterday. They would have signed somebody yesterday if they felt that Khalil or David wasn't going to get the job done. So they're going to see what they got in these guys stubbornly. But they're going to give them an opportunity to prove themselves. So coverage issues. Bobby McCain, man. We all know at this point that the pass to Patrick Patterson, Cordarrelle Patterson was all on him. He bid on. Oh my God. I'm gonna show y'all. Matter of fact, I'm gonna show y'all. Hold on. Let me bring this up for you all. Let me see if I still got it in my bookmarks. I'm gonna show y'all this play that kind of illustrates how bad it was. All right, here we go. Oh, I retweeted it. All right, so here we go. Game stream. Bookmark. Refresh. All right. So we all see it. Oh, this is a GIF. All right. So look, they have the illustration right here, right? This is a deep curl. He's attacking the safety right here, which is Bobby, I believe. Deep safety, bro. We know your responsibility as a single high. You need to be back here. This is your job, to be back here. A deep curl. Who the fuck is he checking? What are you crashing down on as the deep man? The ball, it's going to be hard for you all to see. Matt Ryan is in the process of releasing the ball. McCain was beat probably about 2 seconds prior to this moment. Cordarrelle has already gotten past him. This is where he's going. Who are you going to? Kyle Pitts is right here. Kyle Pitts is 7 yards away from him. Who are you going to? And then look. Doug Farr put it perfectly. This is not ideal. It's not ideal. So that kind of illustrates what happened on that play. It's very simple. So we saw that part. And Bobby McCain took an issue with the media. And this is our last thing before we get up out of here, right? Bobby McCain took issue with the media after the game. He said, where did that thing go? Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. My bad. Here it go. He said, when we start balling and we start playing our asses off, I want y'all to write the same shit you're writing. I I'm gonna just tell you this right now, ladies and gentlemen. The last thing you want in a safety, and any player on Washington, on the unit that's struggling the worst, is for them to start deflecting and blaming other people that are not themselves. Bobby McCain has an issue. The defense has an issue. And we're talking about the media. When you're giving up, I just showed you all what the fuck Bobby McCain did on that play. And you're telling me the first thing you're going to do is blame the media, or point to the media in instances in which you have to get better? They will start writing better. They will start producing more content in a positive light when you all start playing good. Bobby, if there was one piece of advice that I can give you, knowing that I've been in the area for fucking 28 years of my life, Bobby, sometimes it's easier for you to shut up. It's just easier for you to shut up, bruh. You don't have to go out there and stick your neck out, even if you are upset. Even if you just got the win and we're focusing on how bad your defense is. It's easier for you to just accept accountability, understand that your defense is an issue right now, understand that you all have to get better, understand that you just gave up a big play that contributed to the reason why you all were trailing in the first place. And just shut up, take accountability, keep it pushing. Get better, bro. Get better as a whole, bro. That's all I'm saying. Like, we all know that these guys are talented, man, but you have to do better from a collective standpoint, and don't blame the media for none of that stuff, bro. Don't do it. Don't do it. So, House. Let's say I was gonna do an outlook. I'm gonna save this for the fellas tomorrow. When we do the Trapper Dive, the full Trapper Dive game day preview with the New Orleans Saints. You mentioned someone needs to show him some film with LaRon Landry when he needs to play. Yes, bro. When he played 30 yards off the ball. So two things. You know, the media is just dying for Washington football team to be good, man. Dudes don't realize that. They think they think that they've enjoyed covering a loser for the last 30 years. I've talked to several people when I was in my time down in Richmond covering the team. They don't like covering losing teams. It's easier and better. It's better when the team is winning. It's better when the team is winning. They don't enjoy the misery. They don't enjoy it. I've had people from the media message me fucking directly and tell me that they hate that shit. When fans are miserable is not fun. Of course, they want to tune in and figure out what's going wrong, but that don't mean that they enjoy it. It's the pain that's been caused from them over 10,000 hours of watching a terrible product. So they don't like this shit, man. But back to your point, man, and everybody who's here, House mentioned that someone needs to show him some film on LaRon Landry when he played 30 yards off the ball. Well, guess what, everybody, and this is the last thing that we're closing out with. We will have a film session, and I'm having some people on throughout the upcoming weeks that's going to break down film, that's going to illustrate it. Just as I showed you all through the Twitter thing, right? Except for we're actually going to be showing film. We're going to break down the film. This is going to be Trap or Dive U. You heard of YouTube University? Well, guess what? It's Trap Dive University. We're going to be breaking down film, learning every single thing that we need to know. Misconceptions, people who are playing good, people who are playing poorly, and why they are playing poorly, whether it's a scheme thing, whether it's a coordinator thing. What are this some issues in which their techniques or responsibilities are just being lost in the shuffle, man. We will have that film session coming up where we can see everything on our stream live. This ain't somebody just gonna talk to you. We're having a visual learning section. All right. So yeah, with that being said, we're gonna get up out of here. Lord, I'm gonna try it. Goops. Thank you for the follow. We're just wrapping up a session of the Washington football team recap, the aftermath of the week 4 Atlanta win. Ladies and gentlemen, again, for this week's schedule. Tomorrow we will have the full Saints Washington preview for week 5 of the Washington football team with Ross Jackson of the Locked On Saints podcast. That will be tomorrow, and we will preview it ourselves as well. And then Wednesday, all 32 with the day ones, Rye, Nick, maybe Rick. See if he pops in today or this week, excuse me. No show on Thursday, and then we are back on game day, Washington football game day, pregame and postgame. So, yes, we will be around, man. I appreciate everybody who's been sticking with us and rocking with us throughout the weeks and on game days, man. Game days has been very exciting on this stream, man. We kind of got to get the people back in here because the content that's going to happen during the weekdays, that's been happening during the weekdays, right? It's like, come on, we here. But the content that's going on during the weekdays and things that we got planned, we need the people in here, man. Learn some things, bro. This ain't, we don't like, look, just because we ain't the bigger voices, the Kevin Sheens, I ain't, no disrespect to them, the Kevin Sheens, the Al Gardis, all those people who has that voice on the radio. Look, we out here doing our shit too. We not your average fan, man. We gonna call shit out like we see it. We gonna make sure that everybody who needs to be held accountable is held accountable. We gonna call people out for when things are doing right, all that good stuff, bro. We ain't about to rah rah none of this shit. That ain't my product. That ain't our product. So with that being said, I'm out of here. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, man. Y'all have a good evening. Enjoy y'all game tonight. Again, Chargers -3, baby. Chargers -3. What's going on? I appreciate you tuned in for a second. So yeah, with that being said, stay tuned for the update on the film session. It will be great. It's gonna be an hour of good content. And we'll have that shortly for you all. So with that being said, we out of here. Y'all be safe. Enjoy y'all evening. And then back tomorrow for the Saints preview. All right. Peace.
Whole hard in the trenches. Ask a nigga what he benching. Triple digits, nigga. Don't forget to mention. Whole hard in